Howdy everybody, and welcome back to this segment of this project. Took a few days off away from it so I could edit and upload the first two parts of this series, and then took a day off to go check out the solar eclipse, which was kind of a bust. Could have worked on this instead. So last time we were working on this, we ended up was going to clean the switches. I've done that, and you see the switches are off. I figured good time to just clean them up, get the gunk and the mire off of them best we can. But I'm going to go ahead and put this together because I'm waiting for that capacitor to come in, and I have no status update on when that's going to happen. Sometimes you get none, and before you know it, it's in your mailbox. So not going to stress too much about that. So with that said, let's go ahead and finish reassembling this. You see it lays down a nice bed of oil. That chemical is pretty good. It gives you the oils that you need to re-lube your plastics, but it's not slimy greasy. Now, even though right here it's showing that it is, when I'm done, I'll come back in and wipe off all the excess, polish it up, and that'll reintroduce the oils back into the plastic. Again, trying to keep them go for another, 20, 30 plus years. And there's the finished product. As you can see, all nice and shiny. I can get it in the light right. Not greasy. It's oiled and lubricated properly. And it's happy. The next thing I need to clean is the faceplate. You can see here how filthy it is on the aluminum. A lot of finger marks, finger grease. And here's a closer look at it. I know it's not showing up quite as well in camera as it does in person. And the way I'm going to address this on the aluminum is I'm just simply going to use some warm water with a little bit of detergent and a paper towel and just lightly wipe across it. You need to be careful with chemicals and even the soap. I may just do it with warm, clean water and that's it. We'll try it with that method first, and if that don't work, then I'll try soap. With aluminum, you need to be careful. It discolors very easy, and I have not yet come up with a surefire way of cleaning and polishing the aluminum properly, leaving the luster there as well as the silk screening. So if by chance you have a fantastic way of cleaning aluminum on these radios or meters or whatever, outside of your tires, your rims, let me know. I would be grateful to find a good trick. So I got a paper towelette and I heated it up with some hot water, which is probably by now a little cool. And we're just going to come in here and scrub this down. Well, that looks pretty good. I think that's pretty good success on that. Yeah, sure it could probably be a little better, maybe a second pass, but definitely a improvement. Up next, we're going to clean this filter display. You can see how dirty it is. Now, I need to let you know that all these products that I'm showing you in this video, I've not been endorsed by them. I'm not endorsing them or anything like that. These are just products that I find that work out best for my need, for my situation. If you've got better product, well, that's fantastic. Whatever works for you. Now, on this back panel display, cleaning it up, I need to be really careful, because imprinted on the back side, well, the back side we got all this black stuff. So I mean, if we wiped it off, we wiped it off. However, let me see if I can get my lighting just right. In that black stuff on the back of this plastic, as you can see, this is where hertz and megahertz is imprinted. And that black stuff, as you see, is coming off. So I'm probably going to sample with just some water off onto this side where I have nothing and see how that works. If not, then I'm just going to be really, really careful at cleaning up this center section. If it wasn't for that right there, I probably wouldn't worry too much about having that imprinted. I think what I will do, however, is I will either take a picture or I'll scan this. That way I have an image, and if I need to try to come back later with, try to do my own silk screening or stickies or something like that, at least I'll have a point of reference, I guess. I'll give it another polish once I have it mounted, but I think that's a heck of an improvement. See down there by my thumb where I kind of missed. The next thing I'm going to do to clean this up, I'm just going to do a light wipe on that with Novus Plastic and Shine number 1. I'll grab my rag, little spray, and you can see, as I find the light, there we go. Now this is maybe a moot point because these are going to be replaced as soon as my new displays come in, but in the interim, and I'll keep these in my parts bin, use them for another project or other projects or what have you. There you go. So next up, I'm going to mount the display back into the cabinet, faceplate, the back part. I'm going to mount all that. I won't do that on camera because it's a little time consuming. We could all use our imaginations on that. And before I put the case together, I have the handles, remember they rubbed. So we're going to address that, and we'll go from there. Have it all assembled as far as the face and the body is concerned. The casing is still off, the handle's off. But here all assembled, you can see that it looks really good. I've taken these buttons here and put the nice gray colored plastic up top. That way it all could age properly, I guess. Buttons are all working so far. And power switch, I forgot I didn't shoot this with contact cleaner, so I went ahead and did that. And when I put the bezel back on, the face all together, the plastic posts were just as dry as a bone. So I took some MG Chemicals white lithium grease, electrical grade, and put some on a toothpick and applied it onto the screws and ran it in there, and it went in there just fine. No more dry socket. Next thing we need to attack is this handle. I think we could see right here why it might be rubbing. So this is really lightweight aluminum. Shouldn't be too hard to manhandle and bend back into shape. This one here looks pretty solid, pretty flat. So I'm thinking or something like that. Well, that's better. Well, that's a lot straighter. So we'll give that a shot and see how that works. I still want to add a little lubrication to these hinges. So I'm going to take some of this 3-in-1 oil and just kind of get it on the tip. And just kind of get it in here. Oh, there we go. Once the oil got in there, and oh yeah, that is a lot better. And here we are with the finished product. I have my back studio lights purposely hitting the display so you could see how well it looks now. It looks really, really well. It's fantastic. Got the case all cleaned up, got it all oiled, lubed. That's one. And that's two. Let me see if I could spin this around so you could see how good it is. How better it looks anyway. There we go. So I'm very happy with the way how it cleaned up. Got the AC mains all nice and cleaned up. Generally I use the simple green for cleaning. However, this time on the case and the cord I use this product right here. It's not to be confused with Gooby Gone. Gooby Gone is a fantastic product for what it is as well. I do use it, but on certain applications. This one right here is very similar to Gooby Gone. The difference between the two, Gooby Gone leaves a very heavy, oily coating, which is good, like I said, in certain applications, and I probably would have used it here as well. But I didn't have that at my disposal. I would have had it went and got it. But I had this one right here. And that's fine. Went ahead and sprayed this on there, cleaned it all up as you saw, and then followed it up with that product. Again, starting to become one of my my favorite products. So the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see how well I fixed it. Will it blow up or will it actually work? Plugged into power. Let's turn it on and see if we get sparks. Display, of course, is still goofy. Everything looks good, nice and bright. Last time before I cleaned it, it was really challenging to see. So now we're going to test it. Alright, so in this section here, we're just going to compare the two frequency counters. My leader LDC-825 versus the Sencore FC45, and I have them both connected, key connected, to my GW Instec GFG-8218 Alpha. I have the function generator set up on square wave, have it up at 1.85 megs. Again, into a T connector, 50 ohm coax, and both of these ports are actually 1 meg. I do not have a 1 meg terminator, and I don't have 1 meg coax yet, but that'll be on my list of things to do. Function generator, however, is a 50 ohm output. I don't think at this point in time we're going to worry too much about it, because as you can see, they all correspond with one another. And just drop this down. Like I said, we're at 1.85 meg. Here we're at 174.99K. And as you see, they all pretty much agree with one another. We're a little low here in comparison, but it's in the neighborhood. And I have no idea when the last time this, or actually that, or even that was calibrated. So making for allowances of them to be off askew just a little bit, I think I'm okay. Here we're at 17.328 kilohertz. Here we are at 1.7426 kilohertz. Here we are at 175.32 kilohertz. Let's bump in resolution. Looks good to me. Let's continue on. And here we're at 17.484 hertz. And this one's not quite getting it. And we're okay. We could expect that, because this is only guaranteed to go to 30 hertz. And here we are at 24.8 hertz. And here we are, as you see, at 26 hertz. So this is definitely doing its job. It's reading below where it's supposed to, and that's fantastic. Let's check the high end. And here I have it plugged, both of them plugged into my signal generator. I have this one plugged into the frequency counter port, which is where this one's going to end up living. And then this one here is plugged into the RF output. One thing I've noticed on this one is I believe I might not have plugged the cable for this port back in securely, as this one seems to be a little deaf. So I'll double check that. In the interim, this one port is more likely where this cable is going to live anyway. So if that don't work, I'm okay with that for now. Anyway, that's it for this video. Do appreciate you coming along for the ride on this aspect. Remember, as soon as I get the digits and the capacitor in, we will be doing another video on that. Apologize for the length of this video, but hopefully it was well worth the ride. How's that? Catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See ya.